Pokemon battles are all about, well, Pokemon. And part of the joy of building a Pokemon team is using Pokemon you want to use, whether you're playing competitively or not. I, for instance, have put Indeedee on almost every Pokemon team I've built because I love her so much. But what happens to your amazing team comp when you can no longer choose your Pokemon? Today, me and 3 other competitors will be doing what we call a Wonder Trade battle. Or I guess you could call it a surprise trade battle now because they changed the name. I don't remember the origin of it, but I'm sure someone has done this before, but I've been doing this for years, so the rules might be a slight deviation from what they originally were. Essentially what we're doing is we take 30 Pokemon and surprise trade them all away. Then we build a team of 6 with whatever we got. And you're allowed to evolve your Pokemon so you're not just stuck with baby Pokemon. We also do not EV train our Pokemon or use bottle caps. Mints and ability changing items though are free game though. And the other thing is our teams are a complete secret from each other. So I have no idea what my opponent's Pokemon will look like for what abilities or items or moves they'll have. And much like normal competitive doubles, we have a team of 6, but we only bring 4 of them to the battle. And also we do have a clause for re-wonder trading Pokemon, if they're one of 3 things. 1. A third repeat of any one evolutionary line. Nothing sucks more than getting like 6 Lechonks from Wonder Trade, so you can re-Wonder Trade them if you'd like. Eevee is the exception to this rule because they have so many different options to choose from that duplicates of Eevee is kinda nice, honestly. 2. Obviously hacked Pokemon. If your Pokemon's name is a website, that's a no-go for me. They can be obviously hacked in their stats, but I don't want to be promoting these websites. As long as they're not nicknamed, they should be good in my eyes. 3. One of our 2 banned Pokemon. Fluttermane and Urshifu are just a little too busted for a Wonder Trade battle, so we banned them. Sometimes it's fun to have like an insanely busted Pokemon, it's just funny, but we also just kind of already know who's going to win a Wonder Trade battle if they have an Urshifu. Like, how do we fight that? Anyways, with that out of the way, on to the Wonder Trading. I will be Wonder Trading a box of Paradox Pokemon, because I don't like to Wonder Trade junk. I want to treat others how I want to be treated. I got a few good things, and a lot of junk. This time around, the good things are a hidden ability Talonflame with perfect stats, a shiny Kilowattrel, male Indeedee, Bellibolt, Froakie, 2 Charmanders, an Iron Bundle, Heracross, and a Gabite named Biter. On the bad side of things, I got all of these guys. I also got some meh things, so I'm sure I can make a good team out of this. I decided to make my team consist of Biter the Garchomp, male Indeedee, Iron Bundle, Talonflame, Heracross, and Darkspun? Why Darkspun? Well, I thought I could make a cool, bulky build for him, and honestly, I think it might work. I gave him Play Rough, Trailblaze, Stomping Tantrum, and Fire Fang, and I gave him an Assault Vest to increase his bulk. Heracross is built to do huge damage thanks to his ability Guts and Flame Orb to trigger it. I gave him Aerial Ace, Brick Break, Pin Missile, and Protect. Talonflame is built like a competitive Talonflame. Gale Wings with Tailwind, Brave Bird, Protect, and Flare Blitz. They don't typically run Flare Blitz, but I don't think I would get much use out of Taunt. I also gave them a Sharp Beak to power up Brave Bird even more. And they also have a Steel Terra type, which may come in clutch, who knows. Iron Bundle is holding a booster energy to boost its speed, and it's using Hydro Pump, Freeze Dry, Flip Turn, and Protect. Their goal is to just be a really fast special attacker. We have Indeedee, who is curiously holding an air balloon. I wonder why that is. They unfortunately don't have Psychic Surge, and they have Synchronize instead. This is bad, but it does mean that I can run Fake Out Indeedee, which you don't ever see because Psychic Terrain prevents Fake Out. On top of Fake Out, he has Psychic, Helping Hand, and Protect. I would have loved to get Follow Me, but male Indeedee doesn't get Follow Me, unfortunately. Only female Indeedee gets it. So, too bad for me, I guess. And lastly, we have Biter. For some reason, he's EV trained, which means somebody has used him before trading him away. And they have invested a lot of EVs into his special attack for some reason. I debated leaning into his special attack stat, because it would make a funny special attacking Garchomp, but even with the EV investment, he's still better as a physical attacker, so I did that instead. He has Earthquake, Rock Slide, Iron Head, and Dragon Claw, and he's holding a Choice Band to power up his physical attacks. But unfortunately, it does lock him into the first move he selects. With my team covered, let's get to the tournament bracket. This is a 4-person, best-of-3, single elimination tournament. So, let's see how it goes. I'm in the first battle against Cranberry. I didn't know the items or abilities or moves of my opponent at the time, but after the tournament I found out that Cranberry's team has a Talonflame named Flapper with Flame Body holding a Focus Sash, so worse than mine. Then there's a Cheek Pouch Mousehold with a Citrus Berry, a Poison Heal Breloom with a Toxic Orb. Not ideal for Breloom as Technician serves them much better, but Poison Heal Toxic Orb, kinda nice. A Light Metal Scizor with a Metal Coat. No Technician, yet again, but this time it's more devastating because Scizor relies on it a lot more than Breloom does. They have a Landorus named Greninja. Nope, other way around. Greninja named Landorus, although the L is not capitalized in Landorus, so it might actually be Eandorus. It might be an I. Anyways, they have an Expert Belt and Torrent. And lastly, a Flame Body Volcarona with leftovers. Now's a good time to mention, none of us here are like expert team builders, so we might have weird moves or item choices on our Pokemon. On to the first battle of the tournament. I lead with Talonflame and Darkspawn, and Cranberry leads with Scizor and Maushold. Turn 1, I go for a Fire Fang on Scizor, and set up Tailwind. But unfortunately this gets countered pretty hard with a Follow Me from Maushold, which I should have expected. This also made me realize why people don't use Darkspawn. And then Scizor capitalizes on this opening and Swords Dances. Feeling substantially more scared, I go for Brave Bird on Maushold, hoping I can take him down, which I do, and Darkspawn can hopefully take down Scizor with Fire Fang. But not only does Scizor terrastalize to rock, but also one-shot my dog. I send out Indeedee and they send out Talonflame. I faked out the Scizor to make sure my Brave Bird safely hit his Talonflame. But unfortunately, even though it was a crit, the Focus Sash saved them, and they were able to set up a Tailwind. Despite Scizor being the obvious threat here, I can't really do much against it. I kind of need to take out the Talonflame first. I protect with Indeedee, which saves him from a Bullet Punch, and my Brave Bird takes down Talonflame. I'm out of Tailwind now, so I try to set it up, but I get Bullet Punched, and actually lived, because he has Light Metal instead of Technician. I set up my Tailwind again, Volcarona Quiver Dances, and Indeedee Psychics Volcarona. Now I kind of want my Talonflame to go down so that Biter can safely switch in. So I basically just sack him to Scizor and protect. Now that Garchomp's on board, this game is over unless Scizor can one-shot me with Bullet Punch. Scizor protects, but it doesn't matter, just stalls the inevitable. Game 2. I bring the same team as last time, but I sub out Darkspawn for Heracross because that'll surely be better. I start out with Tailwind and Brick Break, hoping to take down the mouse, and it works. Scizor does Swords Dance again though. But now that Heracross is burned, he's so strong that I might be even stronger than the Scizor already. I then Flare Blitz at Scizor and Aerial Ace Volcarona. Of course, Bullet Punch does take a huge chunk of health, but ultimately I knock out Scizor and almost take out Volcarona. Since I have Tailwind though, I outspeed the last two Pokemon, and just win with Aerial Ace and Brave Bird, and that's the set. Next battle I'm not involved in, but it's between Rascally Lad and Wisteria. Rascally Lad's team consists of a lot of Pokemon weak to fighting and Fairy. You have Intimidate Crocodile with Expert Belt, Technician Persian with Silk Scarf, Life Orb Hydreigon with Levitate, Guts Hariyama with a Flame Orb, Leftovers Garganacl with Purifying Salt, and Defiant Assault Vest King Gambit. Wisteria has a Trick Room team going on, with Wise Glasses Blaze Delphox, Intimidate King's Rock Fire Tauros, Armored Tail Throat Spray Farigiraf, Telepathy Terrain Extender Shiny Oranguru, Sap Sipper Quick Claw Goodra, and Iron Fist Muscle Band Crabominable. Rascally Lad leads with Hydreigon and Persian, then Wisteria with Tauros and Delphox. Persian fakes out Tauros, then Delphox sets up a Magic Room, which prevents items from existing, and Hydreigon sets up Tailwind. Next turn, Persian uses Last Resort, a move which you can only use after using all your other moves, which means that this Persian only knows 2 moves? Quite the strat. But unfortunately for Rascally Lad, Tauros' Intimidate instantly shut down Persian and made Last Resort only do a tiny bit of damage. On top of that, the Magic Room negating the Silk Scarf also reduces Persian's damage even further. We can see in this game between Rascally Lad and Cranberry that they did after the tournament was over that this strategy can indeed work, with the Persian sweeping the team. But you only have 2 moves, so you can't really mix anything up ever. So this strat is especially vulnerable against Encore, locking him into Fake Out, or as we see here, one Intimidate shuts it down pretty well. Not to mention Ghost types, which can't be hit by either move. Anyways, back to the battle. They flail at each other for a while, Persian not switching out and continuing to do minimal damage until they finally take out Tauros after 3 Last Resorts. Wisteria sets up Trick Room, but unfortunately doesn't quite have enough steam to win the game, after an unfortunate Defiant trigger on King Gambit. Rascally Lad won. Game 2. Turn 1, Delphox sets up Magic Room, Dark Pulse hurts Delphox a lot, Hyper Voice does a little, and Garganacl uses Iron Defense. And at this point, Garganacl's basically an immovable object and Hydreigon an unstoppable force. Rascally Lad makes quick work of Wisteria's team. Crabominable does take out Hydreigon, but he instantly goes down to a Body Press, and this game is basically over now. I don't have much faith in solo Oranguru versus 3 Pokemon. Now on to finals, between me and Rascally Lad. Seeing as his team is almost entirely weak to fighting, I think that Heracross is a must. I also see that Iron Bundle is strong against half his team, so I bring them as well as Biter and Talonflame in the back. Rascally Lad leads with Garganacl and Hariyama, two big bulky boys. I know Hariyama will use Fake Out, but I don't know who it's going to go at, so I double protect. I do run the risk of Garganacl setting up an Iron Defense for free, but I figure since Iron Bundle's out, he won't get much value out of Iron Defense. No Iron Defense does happen though, instead opting for Salt Cure, which gets protected. And now that Heracross and Hariyama are burned, they're both huge offensive threats now. Next turn I try to one-shot both of his Pokemon with Aerial Ace and Hydro Pump, but Hariyama Terrasilize to Electric type, which means that Aerial Ace doesn't one-shot him and instead does almost nothing. On top of that, Garganacl lives the Hydro Pump, Close Combat takes out Iron Bundle, and Heracross gets Salt Cured. Not too good of a turn for me. I know that the only way I can deal with Hariyama now is with Garchomp, so I bring him out, and go for the Terra Ground Earthquake and switch Heracross into Talonflame, to not only get rid of the Salt Cure, but dodge the Earthquake. Hariyama protects, which is actually pretty good for me, because it means I get to take down Garganacl for free, and Talonflame safely was able to switch in. King Gambit comes in, and I opt to Flare Blitz and Earthquake. I could set up Tailwind, but all of his Pokemon are probably slower than mine, so it's kind of pointless. Unfortunately for me, Hariyama switches into Hydreigon, who levitates. King Gambit goes down, but Hariyama can Fake Out once again as soon as he switches in. So I'm hoping that move goes into Talonflame, who's protecting, but I don't know. Hariyama doesn't even go for Fake Out though, and we'll never know what he went for because he got knocked out. Hydreigon sets up Tailwind though, which is terrifying. I'm now too stunned to know what to do. I know I need Garchomp out of here because he's choiced into Earthquake, which can't hit Hydreigon. But if I switch into Heracross and Heracross gets one shot right as I switch in, then my one answer to Hydreigon is gone. So I stay in, which was a huge mistake, as he takes out Talonflame before I can do anything. And because of Tailwind making him faster than Heracross, I can no longer win this game because Biter can't even hit Hydreigon. On to game 2. I bring the same team as last time, but I switch out Talonflame for Doxbun. I know Doxbun did really bad last time, but against this team he actually might do a lot better. He leads with Hariyama and Persian, which I know both of these Pokemon have Fake Out, so a double protect is in order. I know Hariyama can turn into an electric type, so instead of going for an Aerial Ace, I go for a Brick Break and try to one-shot his Persian with Terra Ice Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry crits, which at the time I didn't think mattered, but looking back, I actually wouldn't have taken that kill without the crit, so I got really lucky here. Brick Break does huge damage, but Hariyama lives and takes out Iron Bundle. Now it's time to bring out the dog. I really think they can be useful this time, as they go for a quad-effective play rough against Hydreigon. But not only did he Terrasilize to Grass, but Hariyama switched into Crocodile, which intimidated my Pokemon. So Doxbun does freaking nothing, and Heracross still does good damage because he's actually a good Pokemon. The duality of man. Unfortunately, a Tailwind does get set up, which means that there's a high likelihood that I just lose this battle, which also means I would lose the entire tournament. I know I have to preserve Heracross if I want to win, so I switch to Garchomp, and basically I'm hoping that Doxbun gets knocked out so that Heracross can come back at full power. Unfortunately, Rascally Lad realizes this and ignores my dog completely, and Garchomp gets instantly knocked out, right after switching in. Firefang does freaking nothing, so basically this game's over, unless I can stall out his Tailwind. I think that he'll hard target Heracross, so all I need is for Heracross to get a double protect and Doxbun to take out Crocodile. A tall order, but it's not impossible. Thankfully my predictions were right as I blocked Dragon Pulse and Earthquake. Doxbun does in fact take out Crocodile as well, so this is huge. Just Dog and Bug against Hariyama, who has Fake Out, and Hydreigon. Almost everything on the battlefield is burned and close to being knocked out. I decide to just hope that Hariyama sees the Fake Out KO on Doxbun, so I can take out the Hydreigon with Aerial Ace. And once again, I am right. I take a Dragon Pulse, which almost knocks me out, and then I realize I actually might lose to my own Flame Orb. This is a game of does Hariyama get a double protect, because if he does, I lose to my own Flame Orb. If he doesn't though, we go to game 3. And on to game 3, the final battle. Once again, I bring the same team, but this time with Indeedee instead of Dog. I'm not bringing the Dog again, they sucked too much. Why would I even put them on my team? Hydreigon and Hariyama are my opponents this time. This is scary because I can't just double protect, because then Tailwind gets set up for free. So I go full aggro on Hydreigon. Iron Bundle gets faked out and Hydreigon sets up a Tailwind, but I do get huge damage on him. I think that even despite the Tailwind, Iron Bundle might still be the fastest Pokemon. So I go for a Freeze Dry to take out Hydreigon and an Aerial Ace to hopefully take out Hariyama. Iron Bundle was, in fact, the fastest Pokemon, and they take out Hydreigon. Then Hariyama takes out Iron Bundle. Then Heracross takes out Hariyama. I switch in Indeedee now, which was a complete misinput, but this is fine, I can manage. King Gambit and Crocodile make an appearance. I'm pretty sure King Gambit will Terrastalize, but I think if Heracross does as well, then Brick Break might take him out. Indeedee fakes out Crocodile, King Gambit does in fact Terrastalize and misses a Guillotine. Well, if that hit, I would have been so mad. But it is actually really good for me then. Unfortunately, due to Intimidate, Brick Break doesn't quite close it out, and Indeedee can't hit either of them, so I'm kind of in trouble now. But at least I can stall out the Tailwind by double protecting. Next turn, Sucker Punch does huge damage. Crocodile takes out Indeedee, but with the helping hand that Indeedee set up before falling, I was able to take out Crocodile. At this point, King Gambit can't win. I have a Garchomp and a Heracross, so what can he do? And just like that, I win the tournament with a Dragon Claw from Biter. And if me epic winning isn't worthy of a like and subscribe, I don't know what is. This was a lot of fun, and I think that my team turned out pretty awesome. You know, except for one of them. I love Wonder Trade battles so much, so don't be surprised if you see another one of these in the near future.